No.
Yes, I'm aware of global warming.
Do you know what causes global warming?
Humans. We consume everything, that and cow farts, and, right now we're just burning too much gasoline. And it's too much carbon dioxide in the air.
Do you know how the carbon cycle relates to global warming?
No, I'm not. Educate me.
Okay, so I'll be briefly explain the carbon cycle to you all. Okay, this is a process that takes a long time. And you're like, what is the carbon cycle? Well, as you eat your food, like a solid, I don't know, from plants, those plants took in carbon dioxide from the air to make the sugar and build up, well, their plant bodies, So you ate them, and then you're using that carbon dioxide on yourself. You're just absorbing it and making it part of your body. But then also you inhale and you exhale carbon dioxide, right? So all that is part of a cycle because there's no net gain or net loss of carbon dioxide, and everything has its own tempo. Such as when you die, all of that carbon dioxide that you took in, it's going to be deposited in the ground, and eventually through weathering and erosion may lead to a stream or something like the oceans, and you're going to put all that carbon that once was in the atmosphere back into the land where it came from, or deep in the sedimentary basins of the ocean. And then tectonic processes will move all that carbon dioxide that was stored underground, all that dead animal material, petroleum, it will all go down into the earth, and then it can come back up eventually through volcanic activity into other oceans.
So basically, when humans found out what CO2 could generate, we grew to abuse it in a continuous cycle, which causes pollution through fossil fuels and many other harmful factors.
So today we'll be discussing the hot topic, volcanoes. So from what I'm aware, volcanoes release trapped carbon from the ocean, which go under tectonic plates, and burn in lava.
And you get a plate that subducts under another, all that stuff. So once it's all melted, if there's any kind of reactions inside, they can form these gas bubbles, and these gas bubbles contain aerosols and carbon dioxide, which is, well, another gas. So why would they even trap bubbles in the first place? It turns out that if the lava is rich on silicates, like this plate had silicates inside of it, and then they all got melted, this tends to be very viscous. So what happens is that viscous honey thing tends to trap these bubbles, okay? So then when you get a volcanic eruption, you get all of those gases released into the atmosphere, and that's completely normal part of the carbon cycle.
Okay, so let me interrupt. So these aerosols you're talking about, if I'm correct, aerosols apparently increases the reflectivity, or basically albedo. So that's when this is a situation where sunlight is just coming in. So the amount of sunlight is reflected from these particles. So apparently aerosols, if I'm not wrong, double or increase the amount of, well, water droplets in clouds, which basically increase the reflectivity, meaning less sunlight is traveling to our planet, therefore decreasing the temperature in the short run.
Well, they do in the short term, but as you said, if there is water vapor here, water vapor is considered a greenhouse gas, and so is carbon dioxide. That means that it leads into a positive RF, so that makes it warm too in the long run. At the beginning it's cold, but then it gets hot.
Did you know that humans emit 100 times more CO2 than volcanoes? Volcanoes emit around 0.3 billion tons of CO2 per year. This is about 1% of human CO2 emissions, which is about 29 billion tons per year.
Hello there. I will be talking about
methods to reduce your carbon footprint. The number one method to reduce your carbon footprint is switching to alternative energy known as renewable energy. It is taking from the earth energy that's renewable and generating electricity from it. So the wind right here, as you can see, wind powers a turbine which generates electricity. Solar panels absorb the sunlight which then becomes electricity. The same can be done for water, as low tide and high tide occur due to the moon. The rising water can push turbines which again generate electricity. Another way to effectively decrease your carbon footprint is to live within your means and decrease your waste, because anything produced requires energy. So therefore, if you waste anything, energy is wasted. Therefore, you're increasing your carbon footprint. Push for bills from your government to switch over to renewable energy, because most governments are dependent on non-renewable sources such as gasoline, fossil fuels.